Hello and welcome back. My name is Rasbora for Pond Life Aquatics and Tropical Fish London. I am an aquarist with over 20 years of experience in keeping tropical fish. I run Northwest London's biggest and best aquatic centre, and in today's video I am going to be making a very brief shop tour just to explain to our new people who we are and what we do. And then I'm going to be showing you how to set up an extremely easy to use tropical starter set from Superfish for less than £100 that will then be ready for someone to come and take home if they want to this weekend. And then it's the perfect home for a brand new Siamese fighting fish. Let's get into it. Hello, Editing Harris here again, just to say that I did forget to mention the announcement early on when filming. So if you want to be in for a chance to get an NT Labs goodie pack, a couple of potted plants and a sponge filter, and then our second and third place prize of a sponge filter and a potted plant, then be sure to stick around towards the end of the video where I'll be letting you know how you can enter our 1000 subscriber giveaway, because it's looking like we're going to hit it in the next couple of weeks, which would be so exciting. But on with the video. So for everyone new to Pond Life Aquatics and Tropical Fish London, we do things slightly differently than a lot of other fish stores. The main thing that I think we do differently is that we do everything continent by continent. When you first walk into our fish store, on the left-hand side, we have all of our Nano South American range. That means your Tetras, a lot of live bearers and Ancistrus, all of those wonderful things. We've got some really wonderful stock in at the moment, and we will be restocking again for the entire aquarium next week, which is why I'm doing something a little bit different in terms of showing off the aquariums we have ready for people to take home. On the right-hand side, when you walk in, we've got our larger South American section. That means hard water, tank-bred Discus, Waru, and angelfish. Further down the store on our left-hand side, we keep a lot of our Asian species. In here, you'll find your Danios, Rasbora, things like Galaxy Ras, Mosquito Ras, Kabutoy Ras. We've got some really gorgeous koi female bettas in at the moment. We've got some regular female bettas that have sold really well. We've only got a couple of them left in stock. And in the same tank, we've got some Asian rummy nose, which are a bit more oddball. You don't really see those all that often. We've also got some really gorgeous gourami in stock. Best sellers at the moment have been the neon Gobys alongside the Potamic loaches with the coolie loaches. They're just really cool, and it's something a little bit different. Down the end of the store, we have our Barbs section alongside our goldfish. We are going to be restocking our goldfish ready for Iranian New Year. So if you do need to get some goldfish for Iranian New Year and you want to celebrate that way, then we do have those in stock. Just make sure you have an aquarium set up at home ready to give them a good quality of life. We also then have our dedicated Siamese fighting fish range, where we have, from what I've seen, one of the biggest spaces dedicated to Siamese fighting fish. We don't like to put them in tiny little Betta barracks. Each one of them has their own at least 15-litre aquarium. We've got some really gorgeous bettas in at the moment. We've been selling extraordinarily well out of this. We'll be restocking again next week, and this is where I'm going to be setting up the aquarium later on. We then have our Australia range, where we keep our rainbow fish and things like peacock gobies. We are looking for an Australian bottom feeder, but we need to do some more research into that. And then in our Africa range, we have African cichlids. We've got some Lamprologus, some Neolamprologus. We've got some really gorgeous Cryptocoryne in it at the moment. Got a breeding pair that are preparing to lay their eggs as well, alongside some killifish. And obviously, we've got everyone's favorite. We've got dwarf African frogs in the bottom tank, and they're just doing really well at the moment. And then finally in this room, we have our dedicated plant tanks. In the top tanks, we've got epiphytes on wood. We've got some really gorgeous deco pieces in alongside all of our potted plants. This week, we got fresh Anubias Nana in. We also have Echinodorus Sunrise, which is absolutely stunning. We've got a really good selection of plants in at the moment, and I am going to be using some of these in the little aquascape that I will be setting up in just a minute. Additionally, we're fully stocked on all floating plants and mosses. We've even got some relatively rare Bacardia comidifolia moss, which is mini Pelia moss to those who don't know. We got this in specifically for one of our customers, Ricky. We're going to be partitioning them up into 5-gram cups, which is the average that you'll find. And I'm also going to be reserving about 10 grams for myself, where I'm hopefully going to be setting up a moss farm. So if anyone's interested in seeing how I do that, then just let me know in the comments below, and I will do an entire tutorial how to grow your own moss. It also works really well for epiphytes as well if you want to grow them on a bigger scale. Hello, future Harris here. I know past Harris said that we didn't really get that much in this week, but I forgot that we put in a Aquadip order earlier this week, and it's come in absolutely beautifully. We've had a lot of customers asking for different epiphytes, whether that be from Java Fern to Anubias, and we got 3 different types of each. We've got Anubias nana, Anubias barteri var nana, Anubias cardinalis, Anubias narrowleaf. We've also got Java Fern petoris, got Java Fern trident, Java Fern narrowleaf. We've got loads of different mosses in. We've got some Christmas moss. We've got Java moss. We also got Hydrocotyl vulgaris, which is this beautiful, almost lotusy looking plant. We're really fully stocked on plants this weekend, and it's really exciting that we're able to get this amount of plant through, and it's not a huge worry knowing that we've got people who are looking for this kind of plant. So if you do want Java Fern and you want Anubias, anything like that, then come down to store this weekend. We're more than happy to help you out. This is definitely the most amount of epiphytes we've ever had in. We're going to be planting up our own pieces of wood and stone ready for people to take home. Those will be individually priced depending on what we use. So we may be doing some pieces of wood with Anubias and Java Fern, or we might be doing them with Bucephalandra. So if you want anything specific, just let us know and we'll make that up for you in store. But anyway, back to the video for future Harris. So over in our dry stock room, we are going to be getting in a load of new Hardscape tomorrow. Hopefully that will be arriving at some point where I can add that into the video, ready for the weekend. We've got some lava rock coming in alongside some really lovely pieces of wood. But the reason why I brought you in here now is because I wanted to show you this, which is the Superfish Start 20 Aquarium. It is a starter kit that is 15 litres in total. It retails at a very reasonable price, under £50, and I'm going to be showing you how to set one of these up so that it'll be perfect for something like shrimp or a Siamese fighting fish. So here we have the tropical fish starter. I'm just gonna unbox it so that we can double check it's going to fit nicely into the space that we're going to be having it in. And you can see that it's just a very neat little glass box. In the lid, it has a very simple LED alongside a transform plug. It comes ready to use with a fishnet and some Colombo star alongside a thermometer. It also comes with a nice little AquaFlow 50. This is just the transform for the light. And then it has your Start 20, 30, 70, 150 series manual. So as you can see, the Aquascape is going to sit really snugly up there. The light isn't that powerful on these lights, so I am relatively limited on the type of planting I can use to effectively grow. So I'm going to be using lots of low light friendly planting. Just to preface this, this is on the smaller side for a starter aquarium. Personally, I would like to go slightly bigger if I was starting out for the first time, but for the price, these are absolutely wonderful. I'm really looking forward to just playing with that now. This is going to be my worktop. I'm just going to wipe out the inside of the aquarium just because there is some dust. There you go. That's all of the dust and the polystyrene out of the aquarium, ready to work with. So the price tag on these aquariums are $49.99 as is. Nothing in them. They don't come with a heater this size. They do come with a filter, thermometer, net, and starter. So you will need to factor in a heater when you want to have one of these aquariums if you are going to keep it for things like shrimp and betta fish. However, we keep our tropical room at a toasty 23 to 25. So this is not going to have one initially for the setup. For this little scape, since I've set myself a budget and I'm gonna try and get well below £100, I'm gonna be using just plain black sand, a Limpopo black sand, alongside Nutricaps. The reason why I'm going for a non-nutritive substrate in an aquarium like this is because the plants aren't going to be extraordinarily fast growing with a light like this. I'm going to be using largely epiphytes, maybe a couple of Cryptocoryn, and I do not want to be overwhelming the water column with a highly nutritive substrate. I want this to be a really low maintenance, really easy to keep starter aquarium ready for a customer to take home if they want to. So I'm going to be using a non-nutritive black sand alongside some epiphytes that I might attach to a piece of wood or a piece of rock, depending on how I'm feeling. So I don't need to rinse this Limpopo sand because the Unipack sands come pre-rinsed. I am probably going to just use vast majority of this sand. I'm going to keep some in reserve in case I need to. I'm just going to really gently bank this sand up towards the back. I don't want to be using a huge amount of sand because this is such a small aquarium anyway. I kind of want to make the most out of the amount of space there is. Swim space. So right now we have spent £55. I am tempted to add on £7.59 in the form of some Nutricaps. And now it's time to decide about Hardscape and plants. As you can see, we have some really gorgeous plants in stock at the moment, but I'm relatively limited because of the light on that tank. So I could go for something like Cryptocoryn the belly or Cryptocoryn piquetti. Also Bucephalandra would be an excellent choice on a piece of wood, but I'm relatively limited if I want to keep the budget down. I've got about £35 to play with if I want to keep it below £100. And I think I'm probably going to be right up to my limit if I just go for stem planting. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take £15 from my budget and I'm going to take one of these pieces of Java Fern. I've got a hitchhiker of some floating plants in my arm. I'm going to take this piece of pre-planted bogwood. I'm going to see how it looks in the aquarium as is. And then what I think I'm probably going to end up doing is using £3 from the budget to get some of this Superfish glue. And then I'm going to attach a few more epiphytes onto this. So that will be another £15, bringing it to a total of 50. And then I think I'm going to use my remaining £5 to split up a Cryptocoryn and put Nutricaps into the base, which I think is going to be lovely. So one thing I always tell people to think about when you're creating an aquarium is about your perspectives. And it's very difficult to do that when you are trying to, limited on budget, to try and force perspective to things. I think just based on the size of the aquarium itself, having that piece of Java Fern actually is a really, really lovely thing on its own. So what I might do is just use up the rest of the sand to make a bank around the outside and then use the Nutricaps to plant up some Cryptocoryn, which would be ideal in an aquarium like this. So I'm definitely going to go with that idea, but I am just going to put a bit more of the sand in. So I'm going to use the whole bag of the Limpopo sand just to give myself a bit more of a bank. And I'm just going to really gently put some water into this aquarium so I don't have to plant in completely dry. I'm going to push that Java Fern back as much as possible. And then I'm going to use some of this Cryptocoryn. I think I'm going to go with 2 pots for another £11. And this will go a really, really long way. So the great thing about Cryptocoryn when you buy it in pots is it looks relatively small, but these stems break up and can be planted individually. Obviously, I've only got so many Nutricaps. I do think it's going to be worthwhile spreading these out quite a bit. I'm going to get these prepped now, which will take me about 5 minutes, and I'm just going to put it all together. To give you an idea of how easily Cryptocoryn breaks up, once you've got it out of its pot, you can see all of these really tight stems. You can literally just split these. I think I'm going to split each pot at least 4 times, maybe even more. Yeah, we're going to get some lovely plants off of this. Right, since I've used these Nutricaps in the budget, all I'm going to do where I want to have some crypt, I'm going to place them down into the sand, and then I'm going to take one of my plantlings that I have prepped. I'm just going to plant it down into it. I was going to use tweezers for this, but I've realized that a lot of people don't just have tweezers for their banks lying around, so I didn't want to cheat in terms of the budget. I would probably recommend using potentially some tweezers to make this easier. So I'm just going to put a Nutricap underneath the spots that I want to have my Cryptocoryn in. I'm going to try just wrapping the Nutricap around. Because we're using a sand substrate, it does make planting incredibly easy. Just going to plant those down. Now this is definitely one of the more basic aquascapes that I've done. but we want to keep the price under £100 so that someone can happily take this home without having to invest all that much in their first journey of fish keeping. And in doing this, the Nutricaps, they don't have to worry about having huge algae blooms, which is a benefit of using Nutricaps in something like this kind of nature aquarium. And we're just going to go around. I'm really liking how the Cryptocoryn is kind of framing the Java fern here, and it adds just a little bit more of a dynamic to something that could, if you were someone who never set up an aquarium before, you might not think to go this heavy on planting. And I think this is going to be a huge benefit to whoever takes this home. They're not going to have to combat nitrates nearly as much because they are going to have live planting in here that is going to survive in the conditions there is. Got one more little planting. I'm just going to put that Nutricap there, and I'm going to push that in there, and that's it. Now, this does have the potential to go extremely wrong because I do have to now, I have to be very, very careful getting this aquarium up into its spot. Luckily, because it's so small, it doesn't really have that much weight to it. So that's going to sit up there. Now, I'm just going to get the pump in place. They're great. They come with all of these little attachments. I think I'm going to go with the adjustable spray bar for an aquarium this size. I've gone with the spray bar attachment with the adjustable flow to this setup because I'm ideally going to be setting this up for a Siamese fighting fish. So this is just ideal for being able to control the flow. It's obviously not the biggest filtration in the world. You want to go bigger if you can, but for a aquarium of this budget, it's absolutely fantastic. So for what this is, I think it's great. The reason why I didn't want to make a dedicated aquascaping video for this, and I kind of did just roll it into a shop tour kind of video, is because I do genuinely think it is that simple to set up this kind of aquarium. Just so that I can break down exactly how much this aquarium cost. The actual aquarium is $49.99. Just for the aquarium set, I added an additional £15 for the piece of wood, $2.99 for the glue. I don't even need to charge the glue. Oh wow, I don't even need to charge the glue. Okay, so it's $49.99 for the aquarium itself, plus another $15 for the epiphyte and wood, plus $7.58 for the Nutricaps, and then another £11 for the 2 potted plants from Aquadip. Would cost more if you got them from AquaFlow, but this is absolutely fine and looks great. And then if you were going to keep a Siamese fighting fish, you would have to have a heater. They can range anywhere between £10 and £20. But for this, as is, right now, you're looking at £83.70. Pre-setup, I'm going to be selling this for £83.70. I think that's incredible. I think it's incredible value. Realistically, with a Siamese fighting fish and a heater, you're looking at about £130 for a fully fledged setup at home with a living animal inside of it for £130. If you don't think that's a really insane value for money setup, I do not know what's wrong with you. I forgot to show you, but I did dose that water with the dechlorinator that came with the set. I may be a bit cheeky and dose it with Satis and Optimus by NT Labs, who, by the way, are giving a gift to us to give away for our 1,000 subscriber giveaway. If you want to be a part of that, then be sure that you're subscribed to the channel and you leave a comment in the comment section below which your favorite fish is. If you've already commented on the previous videos, then do not worry about that. Your entry is already counted, but it doesn't hurt to comment. It really helps the channel grow. So if you want to comment, I saw this bit. But the reason why, just so everyone's aware, the 1,000 follower giveaway is a NT Labs goodie pack, which is going to be a bottle of Satis and Optimus, a few of their foods, 2 potted plants, and a sponge filter from us. And then there's a second and third joint prize giveaway where you'll be getting a sponge filter and a potted plant from us. This is a UK only competition, but the reason why I would use NT Labs, Satis and Optimus on a tank like that is just so that it would very quickly cycle ready for the weekend, because I am actually selling that little aquascape in store. I'm not sure if you can call it an aquascape, it's more of a nature aquarium setup. I will be doing another aquascape, more like my bright red little Scaper cube that I had on sale, which I sold to a lovely couple last Sunday. I'll be doing another one of those kinds of aquascapes later on this week. It may be up as the educational video, or I might be doing a back to basics, but I release those midweek every single week at the moment. I'm gonna see how long I can keep it up. And then we always release these stock updates on a Saturday, either first thing in the morning, or depending on if we get some issues with our stock, we post them later on in the day. Just so everyone's aware, we do have live food in stock. Just ask for it in store. We don't have it out in the open. We keep it in the fridge, so it's nice and fresh for you all. But for now, that is everything from me here at Pond Life Aquatics. And I hope you'll join me again next time for this Pond Life.